This podcast contains adult language, descriptions of violence, sexual references, and other possibly offensive themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Previously, on Back to the Story.
I want to find some more information about a specific person. Its name is Gladys.
There are things coming that I'm involved in that, well, if I don't get this right, that may lead to the end of the world.
I am trying to save everything. I will align with who I have to do this.
We kill Sarnelis. That's the most important. It's the biggest effect on the city.
Alright, so hopping back in, you've had 2 days to gather weapons, potions, and prepare yourself for this current mission. Mockler has gotten to contact with his contact and set up the time where you would meet outside of the warehouse in order to be smuggled in. So are all of you getting into the sphere except for one of you, Ellory? Is that the current plan?
I believe so, yes.
We were going to make sure that we borrowed the cloak from Melly.
You got it.
We were also going to ask Stitches if she could disguise us, since we don't want any potential witnesses to...
What do you have her disguise you as?
Well, what I'm thinking is to have most of us look like normal humans, but not the same normal humans that we were as waiters, and to have
Covenant.
Ball look like a Goliath, and yes, to all have Covenant armor.
Okay. So she casts seeming upon you all to all look human except for Ball, who's a Goliath, all wearing Covenant armor, which is mostly pretty standard except for it's adorned with animal bone. And then the cloak, which has the skeletal skull of a stag as well, and a crimson ribbon. She casts that. You're able to get Melly's cloak. Who has that? Who's wearing that?
Ellory has that.
Ellory has it on. Okay. Get into the sphere, and Ellory has the sphere, and you can meet outside of the warehouse. The hurricane that came through a few days ago, there's still scattered kind of showers, the last rings of the hurricane that passed through this morning and will continue to pass through, but the bulk of the storm is gone. There's been some damage to the docks, some ships and some of the buildings, but nothing too awful. But you meet in the afternoon where you can see just outside the warehouse, the doors are open and you see a number of Covenant standing around. 2 of them are I'd say 3 of them are standing on watch, and the other 3 are helping loading up crates, sacks of flour, rice, that kind of thing. You are instructed to go into the warehouse where you would be able to sneak into one of the crates that they are to pick up.
Just so it's stated, Amson casts mage armor on himself before all this.
Okay. So Ellory, you've been instructed which crates are the Covenant are going to pick up.
Okay. So...
Would you have gone there before or trying to get it at the same time?
I think I would have tried to go there before.
Okay. So they're not there, they're not loading up yet, but the warehouse doors are closed. So to sneak in and get to the crate, are you just going to stealth in? How are you going to do that?
What kind of entrances do I see?
There's a large doorway currently closed. There is a small side door that's propped open. You can see a few kind of dock workers and warehouse workers moving things about. There's a few Covenant in the area, as they are in the exchange and in the warehouse area.
How many workers do I see moving around? Do they seem to be going in and out of this door? Or...
Yeah, some of them seem to be going in and out. Some are coming from the docks and coming back. And you're seeing maybe 5 here, 6 there.
Okay. Yeah, so I think I think the best thing to do is if before everybody goes into the sphere, if Amson could turn me invisible so that I can get in without anybody seeing me.
Yeah, I can do that. It lasts for concentration up to an hour, so we got time.
Okay. So as Amson casts you invisible and gets back into the sphere, you're able to attempt to sneak into the warehouse and climb into one of the crates. Give me a stealth check at advantage since you're invisible.
That is nice. That's 25.
Okay. You're able to simply walk through the open side door that's propped open. You see a few warehouse workers are kind of moving crates about, loading them into the warehouse. You move to the corner where the Covenant crates are marked and find one that looks like the top is open.
Okay.
We climb inside, closing it. There's one smaller bag of rice in here, but otherwise you can squeeze in.
So I will get cozy and wait.
Okay. You get cozy and wait,
and I will think updates at Felix about what progress has happened.
Sure. After a little while, you eventually start hearing additional voices, and you start hearing the movement of crates and bags around you. At some point, your crate is picked up, and you're jostling from side to side until it's put down. The cracks between the wood are pretty narrow, so it's hard to get any good visual, but it appears that you've been placed upon a wagon with a number of Covenant around. After a bit of them loading up, they eventually begin to move out. They ride along the stone road, jostling you about a bit. You feel yourself going uphill with a shift in gravity orientation, and eventually you come to a stop. You hear things being shifted, moved, other crates and bags of flour, rice, etc. And eventually your crate is lifted up. You can hear the Covenants outside lifting it, kind of grunting with effort. And eventually you're placed on something and you hear the squeak of metal and rope. You feel yourself slowly being lowered. You eventually come to a stop where again some people unload you out of whatever pulley system you're in and onto the ground. This happens for a little while as they load the rest of the crates and bags and various pots and whatever they have, but eventually it becomes quiet.
Okay.
It's hard to see out of the wood. Give me a perception check.
Okay. 17.
Okay. Looking out, it looks like there was one kind of straggling behind Covenant. It was being very quiet. It looks like they're going through ledgers, just kind of marking things off as they look at the crates and look at the various bags of whatever. So you wait, and eventually they go. Well, 30 minutes later.
Okay. So I will wait a little bit longer to make sure I don't hear somebody come back in. And so, okay. So we're already below ground. I would like to... This other door that leads into the hallway, is that closed at the moment?
It's hard to see looking through the crack, but it appears to be so, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I am going to try to very quietly get out of this crate.
Okay. Roll a stealth check for me.
Okay. I imagine it's been longer than an hour at this point.
At this point, yeah, loading up, travel, and unloading.
Yeah. Okay. Is 19.
Okay. You get out of the crate and into a room with natural stone, but carved room. It's about maybe 20 by 20 feet. There's a doorway where you think you came from that leads to a small place where there's a staircase and a pulley system. Simple pulley elevator and another doorway. Both doors are currently closed.
Okay, so I will go up to the other doorway and listen for any movement on the other side.
Perception.
That's a 22, I think. Yes.
With a 22, putting your ear to the door, listening, just barely hear the sound of something. It's hard to tell what. It's definitely not just on the other side, but somewhere down there you can hear something.
Okay.
Footsteps, maybe someone talking is hard to say.
So, I know that there is... It doesn't sound like it's immediately on the other side of the door.
Correct.
So I will very quietly open that door and go into the hallway.
And that door is locked.
Okay.
Lock check.
Yes. Why can't I do math?
I was going to say check for traps, but it's a little late now.
Yeah, it is a little bit late now. Does Ellory ever remember to check for traps? No. 21.
Okay. You quickly undo the lock. No trouble at all. This is not much more than a bike padlock. Unlock it, creeping into the other hall. Goes about 5-10 feet before it turns to the left. And you see it goes down maybe 40-50 feet, something like that. And you see another door. It's a pretty dark hallway. But you do see light in the room beyond, kind of flickering underneath the next doorway.
Okay. So, based on the diagram, I have a pretty good idea of where I am and what's on the other side of that door. I remember going through that chamber on my way in and my way out. So, what I'm going to do now is use Melly's cloak to Dimension Door to this. There's this little the corridor that goes into the dungeon from that guard room has this little bend in it, and I want to go just past that bend with Dimension Door.
Okay. Make an intelligence check.
Okay.
You have inspiration.
I think that would have...
DM
Oh,
inspiration.
I have DM
You have to
inspiration.
state it before you roll, but
I haven't
don't
rolled
think
yet.
you rolled yet, so you can do it.
I'm just reminding everybody because this is it.
Yeah, this seems like a good time to use that because I'm not the smartest person in the world. Okay. That gives me a 12.
Okay. You're trying to figure, it's been a while. You have this diagram, but it's shoddy, literally hand-drawn on a piece of parchment, not to scale whatsoever. And it's been a long time since you've been down there. You think you have a rough idea of where you are and a rough idea of what would get you there. Do you go for it?
I think what I'm going to do... So the door at the end of the corridor is closed, right?
Correct.
So I think what I'm going to do is sneak down that hallway to the door so that I have kind of better bearings for where I am in relation to where I think that bend in the corridor is, where I want to get to, and go from there.
Okay. I'll let that stealth check ride. You're able to quietly move down. At this point, you can hear murmuring on the other side. Sounds like two Covenant talking in the room next to you.
Okay. So I will attempt to Dimension Door.
Okay. You grab the cloak, focus, like Melly told you when you picked it up. You feel the smoke kind of drifting off of it, and nothing happens.
Well, fuck.
And the smoke kind of trails away after that attempt.
And that is the only use of that in a day, I believe. So I'm going to... I'm going to think at Felix and let him know what just happened. That the Dimension Door did not work.
Felix will suddenly realize that prison very well likely may have protections against teleportation.
Vesper just puts her face in her hands. Well, there go all of our strategies.
Okay, backup plan. We have mist, invisibility. What else we got?
I have expeditious retreat.
Mist I can use to get us in, but this all makes getting out harder.
Ball has his fire foam.
I can sit in someone's pocket in this ball.
So, forgive me, on the map that we're seeing, can we see where we are, or do we know where we are right now? Are we in the room, this storage room?
You're where Ellory's token is on the map, in that hallway.
I
can't see Ellory's
do
token.
not see Ellory's token.
Oh.
So I'm in the hallway that leads from storage to the room that's above that little circular chamber that has the 2 gates.
Okay.
Can you see that blue light thing?
Yes, that I can see.
I don't know why you can't see Ellory's token. I guess she's invisible. Yeah, she's there, roughly. Something like that.
So we're not, theoretically, that far from Sarnelis' room, because that's that thing down there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, mist might work. It may have to be me that does it, however, because I don't know the mechanics. I don't have a scroll of it. I have to cast it on you. I didn't get a scroll.
Oh, I thought that was one of the scrolls that you...
No, I ended up not doing that one because people couldn't make up their mind. So I have it prepared, but I only gave you invisibility. But I can cast it on you while you're in the ball, and then you can go out of the ball in mist form. Yeah, it has can't talk or manipulate objects. Oh no, it can't be interacted with, so I don't know that you can get out. I would need to be the one outside of the ball.
But then, wouldn't you be stuck outside of the ball?
I know. I'm saying I would have to be the one in gaseous form carrying us.
Oh, okay. Well?
Do we have any other option? Sounds like that's the way to go.
We don't exactly know what's going to happen either when a cloud of mist suddenly goes very slowly, as you move, your speed is reduced to 10, floating its way down the hall. Just also pointing that out.
Can you float along the ceiling?
Maybe.
Most people don't think to look up.
Still got to get into the room, but...
Well, if you go up through the crack at the top of the door...
True. Seems like the best plan we have for now. I mean, worst that happens is maybe I get into the room and immediately lock the door behind me. I can do that.
Yes. Well, that would make it harder for us to get out.
You hear a door opening on the other side. And then it closes.
As we're having this conversation, I'm going back into the storage room.
I mean, I can disable the lock anytime I want. We can leave easily. It doesn't affect me.
Okay. We still want Amson to put silence up to try and prevent them from hearing that anything is going on in the first place, but that should help. So I think this is our best option.
Okay. Well, I'll come out, and you can go in, and I'll creep my way along the ceiling, I hope.
Will the scroll that he gave me fit inside the pouch?
You can probably squeeze one more. It's getting a little full. It's a little cramped.
Okay. So
when Ellory gets into the sphere and it's just me and the scales, I'm going to cast Aid and cast it on the other 3.
Felix, Ellory's gone inside and gotten aided, and you're outside. Do you cast anything? What are you doing?
I am gonna cast gaseous form on myself. And I can't concentrate on anything else actually, you know what? I'm gonna cast Sanctuary on myself first, because that is not concentration, in case they try and attack the mist if they do see me, and then I'll cast gaseous form. And I'm going quickly. My speed is only 10, so it's also as stealthily as I can, but I'm just a cloud.
Okay. So you're able to drift down the hallway and get to where you can see the light flickering underneath the doorway into the next room. What's your plan here?
I want to go through the crack at the top of the door and just kind of seep through and rise to the ceiling as subtly as I can, and just try and creep from the tops of the cracks of the doorway to hopefully get through as quickly and as unnoticed as possible.
Okay. Make a stealth check. You don't have any cover, but just roll. We'll see what happens.
I'm going to use my DM inspiration for this one.
Okay.
Ooh. 10.
Okay. So, as mist, you rise to the top and slowly begin creeping through the crack. Your vision is strange in this form. Everything's shaded in the color of this bluish light mist. You begin filtering through this crack, seeing into the other room where it looks like it's almost like an ante-chamber type thing for a prison. You see a table, there's a guard sitting there. You see some manacles hanging on the wall, numerous of them. You begin filtering through. About a couple seconds into you subtly filtering, the guard kind of starts to, the Covenant looks up and starts noticing this mist filtering through.
Fuck it, I start dashing, so I go faster. I'm just charging ahead. I don't care.
Okay. You quickly start dashing across the room as this Covenant starts yelling. He runs over to the door where you're heading towards and starts raising the alarm, yelling before running in the opposite direction towards the other door where the barracks are. As you're rushing towards this door, you see inside there's the door where you're rushing towards, according to the diagram, is actually not a solid wooden door, but just wrought iron. So you can actually see through into the next chamber, which is this circular chamber. And there are two Covenant in there, sitting on opposite ends, who stand up drawing their weapons as they see this mist rushing towards the door. As you're rushing towards the wrought iron, give me a just straight intelligence check.
12.
Okay. As you rush towards it, you start to feel this strange pulsing feeling, and you feel the mist almost like coalescing as you get to the wrought iron. You can almost see your hands are coalescing back into their normal form as you reach it.
Okay. Well, I will think to everyone in there and just say, well, this isn't going to work. Anti-magic. Get ready to come out. And yeah, I'm going to push through. Shit's going down. We have no choice.
Okay. As you try to push further, the field fully interacts with your spell and it drops.
Do I get through the bars or not?
Not through the bars.
Okay. Well, shit.
Or actually, I'll say this. If you want to try to force it, make a raw intelligence check to see if you can force your way through it before the field drops it.
Ooh, that's not crap this time. I rolled 19, so that's 24. 25 because of my good luck stone.
You can feel the spell dropping as you're about halfway through. So do you keep pushing? It's going to drop before you get to the other side, but you might be able to make it to the other side before it drops. It's going to be painful.
I'll twist so that hopefully my legs are as between the bars as possible, and I at least got to get through there.
Okay. You push through, the spell dropping as you're halfway land. You suddenly feel intense pain as the physical form is pushed through yours as it's coalescing. You're forced into the next chamber. You take 12 points of force damage to do it, but you're in the next chamber. The Covenants on the inside now have their weapons out. Hold. Right there. One of them runs towards the back where there's a rope, and they ring, and they pull it, and you hear this bell ringing before they kind of turn around.
Covenant armor. We do look like Covenant.
He doesn't.
Yeah,
He looks
probably.
like Felix.
I am going to just wiggle my fingers a bit and just try and cast dancing lights to see if any magic is working in this chamber.
Nothing.
Oh shit.
On your knees. Don't move. They both have their weapons towards you. They're kind of trying to flank you.
Is there another gate on the other side of this
There's
room?
another gate of the same type on the other side.
Okay. I try and summon Aeon.
George, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think it works.
I don't know.
I don't know enough about how Aeon works.
I mean, he would be magical, so yeah. If it's an anti-magic thing, then no. But I figured it's worth a shot.
On the ground. On the ground.
I will get on the ground.
Hands up, hands behind your head. As they're beginning to Taco, you can hear behind you the sound of more Covenant entering in the chamber you came from. Do you resist their attempt? They're going to attempt to manacle you.
Nope.
Okay. The door behind you, the wrought iron is opened. They move to some levers, and manacles are eventually put on you. They keep you belly down as another Covenant kind of enters. All right. You trying to break someone out?
Actually, I was trying to talk to Sarnelis? I wanted to steal his research.
Make a deception check.
13.
Right. And do you think sneaking in there is the best way to get it? Sneak it into a prison?
Well, I mean, I sent notes, but my uncle did not respond, so I came to get it myself.
Cut the shit. Who do you know in there?
No one. I don't give a shit about anyone in this prison. I came to find Sarnelis.
Well, I suppose you're going to meet him, all right. Search him. And whoever this guy is kind of takes a step back as the Covenant begin going through your belongings and pulling stuff from your pockets and your bags and stuff. Is there anything, I don't know if you have anything hidden, is there anything hidden or secret that they wouldn't find?
Felix would keep at least one set of thieves' tools hidden.
Where are you hiding this?
Probably inside his pants, strapped to his thigh, if he could manage it.
Okay. So I'll give them an investigation. So they'll take everything else and we'll see if they can find that. Okay. So they search you, they pull your bag off you, any scrolls you had, pouches, any coin purse, the sphere, wherever that is. They take all that stuff out and basically leave you basically enclosed, but they don't find the lockpick.
Biggest question, my wooden bracelet that Aeon is bound to right now. Do they take that? It has scrolling on it, but it wouldn't read as magical in this room.
How intricate is the scrolling? Give us a description on this thing.
It would, I have to create it using my calligraphy tools, so painted on it would just be, and because it's Aeon, probably deep speech characters.
Okay. So it's pretty weird. All right, I'll give them a roll to see if they think it's just decorative or... they take that too.
Okay, great.
They take all that stuff, anything that basically looks magic. You can tell, and they're putting a lot in that pile. These guys are kind of dum-dums, but they're basically here's probably magic stuff, and they put it in a pile. And they have you manacled. They lift you up and take you into the previous chamber where they attach your manacles to the wall. Once you're secured, the two Covenant return to their positions in the anti-magic room. The doors are all locked and all that. There's still 3 or 4 Covenant in the room with you. All the stuff you had is in the anti-magic room, and they ring the bell again. A few minutes go by, and you can maybe see a little bit where a pale elven figure with kind of silvered hair, dark hair and angular features approaches the anti-magic room. You hear some levers being pulled, the door opening, and it appears he's inspecting the magical stuff. While that's occurring, the Covenants question you. All right, so Sarnelis is going to inspect your stuff, see what you're carrying. You say you're looking for research. I don't buy it. What are you here for?
I think it would be better if he questioned me himself. I mean, No offense, I don't think you're really going to understand what I have to say.
Right. Well, I'll leave you to it. And he kind of pats you on the shoulder. You're in this manacled position for...
Actually...
Yeah?
I want Felix to very loudly, so that Sarnelis would hear, basically just start reciting whatever hidden forbidden knowledge he may have, or whatever complex arcane theories he might know, just to try and get Sarnelis interested in him. If he can, anything he shouldn't know, but does.
Yeah. Do you want to try, I'll let you choose the check, an arcane check. Try to just impress him with arcane knowledge and forbidden knowledge. Or history? What do you want to go for?
History, if I could. Anything.
Sure.
Specifically, if I know of anything, could reference any powerful necromantic things.
Okay.
Like, the only interest I know he has. So history, you said?
Sure.
So I rolled an 18, so that makes it a 32.
Okay. You start rattling off everything you can think of, particularly necromantic magic. And you hear steps moving towards the door and the voice. Whoever it is that you've acquired, would you bring them to the door here? Thank you. They unmanacle you, or your manacles are still on, but they unchain you from the wall. But they keep you bound to the chair, and they move the chair to where you're still in that other room, but you're facing Sarnelis in the other room. Where you see this boy. You see a elf, not actually fairly short for an elf. Long black hair, kind of oiled and slicked back. Fine, but not refined clothes. And with very angular features and these kind of golden eyes. You seem to have some understanding of the arcane and of necromantic magics. What are you doing here?
I came to find you. I've heard a lot about what you can do. Not all of it good, but I was curious, and apparently overconfident in my abilities to come in and see for myself what you're up to.
Seems so. I don't mean to disappoint you, but I haven't played in that arcane arena for many years now. I've gotten bored of it.
As have I. Hence, jailbreaking into powerful wizards' studies.
Well, if you're looking for an apprenticeship, I don't take wards, and this would not be a good one to gain, or not a good way to gain my trust in either case.
How about access to unlimited knowledge? Tell me, have you identified that bracelet over there?
I have not.
It might interest you. I highly doubt you've ever seen anything like it before.
It is unusual, which is quite intriguing for someone of my age. Where did you find it?
Very deep underground, in a place very old. You can keep me chained, but can we please at least go somewhere I can at least be comfortable? I've lost, and I'm sure I'm going to get punished anyway, but I haven't talked to someone intelligent in weeks. Humor me that much?
I'll have you transferred to a cell. I'm sure they'll want to question you further. Once I move this stuff inside, you can have him transferred into a bottom cell. He says to one of the covenants and walks off. Over the next several minutes, the covenant gather that stuff, move it into whatever dungeon is beyond this anti-magic field room, and once that's done, they then take you manacled through the anti-magic room. And it's actually funny, I just thought about this. You turn back into a covenant when you're out of that field. So you briefly become Felix again before turning into the Covenant once more. Once you enter the other side, they take you into a chamber. There's sort of a upper level balcony of cells and stairs down to where there's another ring of cells. And they take you into one of them, placing you inside and manacling or attaching your manacles to the wall. A few minutes after all this transpires and takes some time.
Question, George might know the answer to this. If we're trying to contact Felix, does anyone else who's touching the stuff hear us?
No.
Okay, good, because we would be definitely trying to figure out what's going on.
No. It's only when I have that connection, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
A few minutes after all this transpires, it takes some time, and actually, it's probably a good hour or two before you see Sarnelis again, but eventually he presents himself outside of your cell. You did notice when they were putting you in there were like these runed gemstones embedded into the wall. You only got a brief glance at them, but it looked like they were enchanted to do different things.
And while I was left to sit, again, if I do a cantrip that's only verbal and somatic, do I get any magic in the cell?
No.
Okay.
But eventually Sarnelis presents himself. The items you have are quite interesting. I would ask where you got them.
Well, different places. Again, the bracelet is half of my own creation and half something I found deep beneath the earth. I imagine you could find anything you want to know in it, but I'd have to be the conduit for you.
Well, there are a few theories I would mind testing out. What would prevent me from studying this for 10, 20, 30 years and figuring out how to do it myself?
My connection to it comes from when I initially discovered the artifact itself. I'm not sure you could get the same effect, but by all means, we do have all the time in the world, though why wait? I'm not, being combative. Again, I'd love to learn about some of what you did.
Give me a deception check.
Please roll well. Nope. That's a 3.
Well, you're quite right. We do have all the time in the world. I don't trust you. I haven't lived this long by trusting people who attempt to sneak in for whatever purpose you may be after. I'll let the others question you.
Suit yourself. If you don't mind, though, maybe don't look inside the orb when all the guards are around. They might find something too tempting to avoid.
I have discovered the nature of your items.
I assumed you would.
I'll find out what's in it, eventually and safely.
Well, if you need any help, I'll be here.
Very well. And he walks off.
And I will kind of sink down and just think, knowing it's not going anywhere. For the love of fuck, Scales. Help.
And Felix, you are Felix again. Your appearance. This is important. So you were a covenant. The magic dispersed in that circular room, but then you became a covenant again when you entered into the prison. But once you're inside the cell, you became Felix again.
Yeah. What's the guard situation around me? Like, how much am I being viewed at all times?
Very rarely.
Okay.
You're pretty much being left alone. Every now and then covenant will come by, but it's pretty rare.
Well, I'm fine to think for a minute if we want to jump back to the others while they figure out what they're doing.
The rest of you are in the sphere. It's opaque. You can't really see out of it. And it's been a while. It's been a good while.
What time did we come down here originally?
Maybe like 1 o'clock or so was when the pickup was done. It's been several hours since then. It's
How long does L's seeming last?
8
Good
hours.
question.
Okay.
Yes.
Hasn't dropped yet.
We should definitely get out of here before it drops. I don't know how long we should wait.
I think Ellory has been pacing
I
pretty much
don't imagine we would
nonstop
have
for a while.
waited more. You said it was 2 hours before Sarnelis went back to Felix, so probably during that time we were figuring out what the hell we were going to do.
Okay.
Should we give it maybe, let's see, it'd be 3 o'clock now, another 2 hours? I don't want to stay in here forever, and I don't like the idea of where they might be putting us, but
What do you think happened to Felix?
I don't know.
He's probably captured. If it's been this long, he's probably captured. And unfortunately, we don't know if that's the case, where the orb is going to be. If he's not captured, then I don't know what he's doing.
Having tea with Sarnelis.
I don't like the idea of sitting here and waiting over and over.
Vesper, can you try sending to him?
I can certainly try, yeah. I will cast sending. Oh no, I didn't have that spell prepared today.
Shit.
So we were going to be down here fighting undead. I figured there were better things to pray about.
Can we step out of this globe? I think that's an option, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm considering. I don't want to sit here forever
so
either.
Paul's just going to say, why don't I step out and see what's going on? Maybe time is of the essence, and
I don't want to wait.
To be stuck in here.
If you step out, we should all go out.
I mean, let's go. Like, if Felix is in trouble, we don't know what Sarnelis. You know what he does to people.
Paul's going to start heading for the exit.
Is there anything
go
that
with
we
him.
want to cast on ourselves before we go? Anything like that?
I've got aid. Let's see, hang on.
Paul will cast protection from evil and good before he steps out.
Does anybody need a little bit of extra hope?
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright. I'll cast Beacon of Hope on everybody.
As Ball, you try to step out, moving into the flames, it won't pass through.
Like I can't get out, you mean?
You try and it won't let you out.
I can't get out. I'm stuck in here.
What? Can I try?
Fuck.
Same thing.
Shit. Okay.
Do we know anything about why we wouldn't be able to get out of here?
If someone has Arcana, they could try to figure that out.
I do. Let's try this. Oh, that's gone. Nope. 10.
I mean, unless something's blocking, you don't know.
I wish Millie was here. She'd have an answer.
Felix.
Alright. After wallowing in self-pity for a little bit, he is going to wait and then try and get the thieves' tools out of his pants.
Okay, let's say make an acrobatics check.
Okay.
Since you're manacled to the wall to try to get him out.
Alright. That is a 19.
Yeah, it's mostly for flavor. Yeah, you're able to get him out.
So yeah, he'll flip upside down and do a crunch so that his hands are going up into his pants, get the thieves' tools, and try and unlock his manacles.
Okay, make a lockpicking check.
13 plus 12, 25.
Yeah. You undo the manacles, and they're able to come out.
Alright. I will kind of creep towards the door and look out there, trying to see if anybody's going to see me try and break out of the cell.
Looking out, you can see across the way there are a number of other individuals in their cells that are kind of now eyeing you, seeing that you're doing this, kind of sitting up with interest. Some of them look pretty rough, burnt and various other wounds.
Okay. I'm going to try and open my cell door.
Okay. The lock is kind of around the corner, so to speak, where it bolts into or locks into the wall. It's kind of awkward to get to. Go ahead and roll a lockpicking check.
Okay, just regular or disadvantage or?
Disadvantage since you're having to do it basically backwards.
I figured. Would be a natural 20, but that is a dirty 20 actually. Roll Nate.
Okay. Yeah, you reach around and are able to fumble with it. It takes a bit. You feel the tumbler slowly falling into place and you hear click.
Okay. I'm going to just raise a finger to my mouth towards the people looking at me. I'm going to slip out. Do I turn back into a covenant?
You do, as soon as you exit.
All right. Using my lockpicks, I'm going to swirl them around, pulling at arcane ley lines, because I can use lockpicks as arcane focus and cast invisibility on myself.
Okay, you disappear. And you could hear the voices as you're waving the lockpicks around, asking for them to let us out. Come on, let us out. And then you...
And I will go up to the closest cage and just whisper, "Shut up, keep quiet, and we will do this. Do not come out until we're all ready, okay?" And I'm going to start unlocking all the cells.
Oh boy. Give me a perception check.
Okay. That is, what is my perception? +6, another dirty 20.
Okay. Now give me a, go ahead and do a lock one.
Okay. 22. Or 24.
Okay. So I'll give you a choice. As far as the people down there, there's a pretty burly female human. There's some orcish, and then looks like a half elven individual as well. Just do you pick, or do you just literally go to the closest one?
I'm going to go to the closest one and at least unlock that.
Okay. So we'll say the burly female human you unlock. As you're doing this, that perception check from a moment ago, you hear footsteps coming.
I will just very quietly shush the woman, and I will try and just stay out of the way and still.
Okay. Walking around the corner is Sarnelis. Walks around the corner, looks over and sees the cage undone. Wonderful. He gives a little whistle, and this six-legged, flying, furry, looks like half moth and half like teddy bear, flies out from where he came from. As you inform the Covenant, we have a breakout. And he turns around and walks back into the room he came from as the little creature flies off.
I'm gonna follow him.
Okay.
Sorry, one prisoner I let out. You're on your own.
Which one do you follow, Sarnelis or the creature?
Sarnelis.
Okay. You follow him where he walks into a room.
I want to keep my eye out for any of the runes that were triggering the anti-magic field.
Okay. You notice now, since you were unlocking that door and you exited the cell, there are multiple different runes on each of the cell. It looks like things can be activated and deactivated on each cell. Sarnelis moves up to the door, unlocks it, heads in. Are you attempting to slip in behind?
Yes.
Okay. I'll say make a, let's say a dex-based check. You can use initiative if you want. That seems to fit.
Okay. 9.
It's going to close unless you try to force it.
I'll let it go.
Okay. It closes. There's about 5 seconds before you hear the lock click again on the other side. You start to hear commotion from above.
Okay. I am, I guess, just gonna... If I turn the door, it's locked again?
Sarnelis' door?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's locked.
I don't know. I don't like this. Fuck it. I go back and start undoing as many cells as I can as quickly as possible.
Okay. Give me 2 lockpicking checks.
All right. That is an 18 and a 12, so plus 12 each, 30 and 24.
You unlock 2 more cells. At this point, the woman and the other 2 you unlock are exiting their cell and are beginning to move towards the exit. You also hear commotion coming from above, and you hear the stomping of armored boots.
All right,
heading down.
Now that they're out, I'm going to go back to Sarnelis' door and try and unlock that.
Okay. Make a lockpicking check.
23.
Yeah. You unlock it, opening up. Inside, as you can hear guards kind of coming down behind, commotion beginning to start. You look into the next room, and there is a small kind of almost an antechamber kind of foyer almost, with a few chairs, and there's a open threshold. There's no door that leads into a secondary room. In that, you see there are numerous bookshelves. There's a working desk, and there's a couple armchairs with a hallway that leads beyond as well.
Anything in here? Do I see my bracelet in here? I'm trying to figure out where he was studying it.
You do. So you're coming into this room, getting your bearings. You see a workbench to the left. To the right, you see the armchairs, and basically surrounding the walls are bookshelves. Between the armchairs is a table, and sitting on one of the armchairs is Sarnelis, and he's currently holding your bracelet. His legs are crossed. In one hand, he has a cup of tea, in the other, your bracelet, and he's looking at it.
But he did not notice me slip in?
Make a stealth check at this point.
Okay. Where did my d20s go? At advantage because I'm still invisible.
Yeah.
Not great. 10.
He's looking at it, and as you kind of come in, you hear behind you the door kind of clicks close as he looks up. Well, why don't you just reveal yourself and we'll sort this out.
I'm not going to immediately do that. I look around to see if the orb is anywhere in sight or kept, I don't know, some kind of box.
Yes. Make a perception check. As he says, you obviously are aware of what I'm capable of and my reputation.
That is a 15.
You don't see the orb anywhere. You do see a metal chest that's not too big. It's maybe 2 feet by 1.5 feet, kind of underneath that nightstand style table between the armchairs. Otherwise, there's just numerous books. There is another room beyond this one, but you don't immediately see the orb. The glaive and some of the bigger stuff is on the workbench to the left, but not the orb. You're also aware that though I work with the Covenant, I am my own individual. If you have problems with them, take it up with them. Well.
Okay. So, what Felix is going to do...
Oh god, I thought you were RPing.
is...
Oh god.
I am going to walk over to that chest, and I will... Fuck it, I'm going to try and unlock the chest and just get the fucking orb out if it's in there. It's the only thing I have. I assume it's nearby.
Okay. Are you rushing to do this?
Yeah, I'm going to hope that whatever...
Roll initiative check.
Better. That is a 16.
Okay. You see as you begin to rush, and even though you're invisible, the footsteps are loud. You begin to rush towards it. He begins to wave his hand to cast something, but you go first. So you can get to the chest.
All right. I will get to the chest very quickly, try and unlock it with my action.
Okay. Make a lockpicking check.
That is a 17.
You start to work on it, get the first tumbler down, and the second one you begin to turn it. And at this point, you're using those same set of lockpicking tools, and they're getting worn out. And you can't quite get it in this first 6 seconds.
All right. Bonus action, I will cast Sanctuary on myself. Dropping invisibility, but hopefully defending me somewhat.
Okay. I'll bring this up to him. At this point, you can hear shouting, yelling. You can now hear clashing, crossbow bolts maybe going off, people hitting something from the other room. Sarnelis stands quickly, pulling out a small wand from his side, and cast a spell. You're suddenly forced out, pushed away from the chest.
He has to make a wisdom saving throw to target me with any spell. Unless it's an area of effect.
It's more of an area effect.
Okay.
Thing. Does it still?
No, area effects do.
Okay, it shunts you out. I'm not sure what your goal is here, but all of this would be quite easier if you just went into your cell and we can have a conversation. I really don't care if you're locked up or released, so long as my operations aren't interfered with. Reveal yourself and we'll have a conversation.
I cast a spell, so I'm visible.
Okay. Still appearing as a covenant for the time being. What do you say? Let's make this easy.
There's something very precious to me in the orb. If you give it to me, I will stop resisting.
I am curious about it. You obviously have some talent. I do have to be cautious about these things. If it's a weapon, I can't give it to you here, you understand, but I can give it to you. Under appropriate precautions, I can give all your things back.
And what do you want in return?
Maybe some information, and for you to leave me in peace. I don't buy that you're interested in my research. My research isn't published. Very few people know the intricate details of what I do, except for some ne'er-do-wells who spend time down here. It would be my bet that you had some cousin or nephew or what have you that spent some time down here, and didn't like it. You wouldn't be the first to come and try to get whatever justice you believe is right.
Can I be perfectly honest with you?
Please.
Yes. I have been in contact with people who have said you have done the most horrendous things. Personally, I don't really give a shit. You can do whatever experiments you want on these terrible people that end up in here, because I've pretty much figured out that everyone in this town is absolutely fucking terrible. But I have things I need to do, things that if I don't do, the world will fucking end. And unfortunately, the people I need to do them won't do it until I have that orb in my hand in this room. So, let me fulfill those steps, and I will get out of here. I'm hoping you're not going to kill me, but you've seen I can be slippery.
You're capable, I will give you that. And I don't have interest in raising these tensions any further. If you, for the time being, go back into a cell, I can walk you there. To ensure the Covenant aren't just going to shoot you on sight, I will have them release you. If they disagree, well, I don't answer to them, and I will get you out. And I'll give you your stuff back. But I will need to know who these people are, for my own protection. I won't take action against them, but I need to be able to watch my back. Does this sound reasonable? And here you can hear screams of someone dying in the other room.
Sorry, this is just me not knowing what the fuck to do. You know what? Fuck it. Yes, this is reasonable.
All right. Actually, why don't you have a seat? This will be easier this way. And he gestures towards the armchair, the other one, as he sits back down in his.
I will sit down.
Okay. There's a bit more sounds of violence from the other room for another minute or so before some covenants come into this room where you're both sitting. No need to be alarmed. just a minor inconvenience. Deal with those outside, put them back in their shells, or leave the bodies if they're already dead. I have this one handled. Thank you. The Covenant kind of look around at each other and eventually leave after a few minutes of him explaining things a bit. You hear the sounds of things moving around outside the door. Sarnelis lets 5, 10, 15 minutes or so go by. The flying creature returns, and Sarnelis instructs him to tell someone something. It flies off. All right. It should be clear now. Walk back to your cell, close the door, and lock it. You don't have to manacle yourself. I'll wait here.
Felix will get up and start going, but he will first ask, can I take a quill and some ink with me? I'll have to write on myself, but I'd like to take some notes. If I'm going to sit there, I might as well think.
I will bring you some adequate supplies. Are you wanting to make a spell?
No, I'm not a wizard. You don't have to supply me with arcane inks. Just a pen and some ink. Thank you.
I will bring you some. He sits and lets you walk out if you do so. What do you do?
I'm gonna walk out.
Okay. You're in the prison. Do you go into the prison cell, or what do you do from there?
I have to just do what he says in the hope that he's gonna get me out of here with my stuff, or else the scales are trapped in a box for eternity.
Okay. Yeah, we will call it here soon to try and wrap this up. Okay, you go in, you close the door and lock it?
Yep.
Okay. Go in, do that. A few minutes go by. Eventually, Sarnelis comes out. You turn back into Felix at this point. And he approaches your cell again. All right. How I propose we do this is I will take your items that you care very much about, and I will take them outside of here somewhere. We'll put them in a safe but hidden place, and I will return here for safety. I will let you exit, and then I will inform you where it is once you're outside. Does this sound reasonable?
Yes.
Good. Now I've been informed by some of the Covenant that you've recently done an important job for them. I don't really care what it is, but they seem to want your punishment be taken lightly. You have some friends in good places. I imagine from what they told me, I can guess who's in that sphere.
What can I say? You've made some enemies. And if what they told me is true, Sarnelis, eventually one of those people you've wronged will succeed. You know that, right?
Possibly. I say this every couple of decades. It feels like someone comes feeling wronged, and I'll say it again before I send your stuff away. I only perform my experiments on those who are sentenced to death. I operate within the Covenant laws of the city. I perform my experiments on murderers, people who have committed assaults, violent burglaries, the lot. Not good people. There was a time when I did practice necromancy, though. That was a few decades ago. Well, maybe not a few decades ago, but I don't do it any longer. Evocation is my primary area of expertise. But even then, these days, some of the things I'm working on are I need wide open spaces to test them, not in these confined cells. So you're right. What I do isn't pleasant, but I don't do it to pleasant people. Even if people who maybe haven't committed these crimes hear it or see it from their other cells. Consider it punishment. Consider it whatever you want. That is why I do what I do.
Look, we all have our hobbies, and all I'm going to say is that I've studied probably more of history than any living creature on this planet, and I will simply say that no matter who you're doing it on, even the worst of the worst, people who do the things that you do don't tend to have happy ends. But I appreciate that you are intelligent in pursuing what you think you need to pursue. I just would suggest maybe put it towards something more productive, so that people like me stop doing this.
Thank you for the advice. I'll have your stuff sent out, and I will inform you when you can be released. I hope not to see you again with your friends.
Trust me, you won't see me. Can't guarantee them.
Well, perhaps I'll take a little vacation then. In any case, it wasn't a pleasure. Good luck with whatever you're doing. And he leaves. Time goes by. You see some Covenant come in, carry some stuff out. A little while later, eventually some Covenant come down, one of which is Roderick. You all are idiots.
Trust me, they are.
And they unlock the cell. Before we leave, do I need to manacle you?
No.
All right. We'll take you outside the city. We'll smooth this all over. And then Sarnelis said he'll tell you where your stuff is.
Super.
This way. And they lead you out of the dungeon. Not through the way you entered, but an alternative path. Eventually come out the courtyard, off of the hill, and eventually outside of the city, out of the west gate. At which point they turn you loose. Maybe another 30 minutes or so go by before you hear in your mind, all right, Phoenix, your stuff should be located along the southwest wall of the city. Just at the corner of that watchtower, you'll see a downed tree. That'll get you close. As he describes where your stuff is.
I will go to that spot and hope I am not dying.
You go there and you find the stuff piled up. There's some cloth and leaves kind of placed over it, but otherwise you find everything.
I will, putting on my bracelet as I do, just go into the sphere.
Okay. Now, I have a feeling, do you want to have a sphere combo and then we'll cut it? Or do you want to cut it there?
I think it just is Felix showing up and saying, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Vesper will hug Felix, realizes that she's hugging Felix, and then jerk back.
He has one of those, his teeth are showing like he's trying to smile, but also every muscle of him is tense. Okay.
How bad is it?
Leave him alone, and it should smooth over. But we failed.
I think Ellory just grits her teeth and says nothing.
And the Covenant, they're not going to pursue this. We're good as long as we keep our heads down.
No, I didn't. Well, a couple of prisoners may have gotten hurt. I created a distraction, but personally I didn't harm anyone, so I think they're willing to let it go in light of our recent adventures. They probably figured out that you all are involved, but they're willing to look the other way.
How the fuck did you get us out of that?
That is a long story. Come, to the dirty bar. And he will gesture out of the sphere so that he can let them know how that went.
Okay. So it sounds like we close as you guys are exiting the sphere and head back into the city towards the copper sail to lick your wounds and maybe have another drink. And we'll see what happens next time.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Back to the Story. For notifications when an episode goes live, you can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you prefer to get your podcasts. Download the app of your choice and subscribe or favorite us there. We also have a YouTube channel called Back to the Story, an actual play podcast. If you'd like to contact us, you can tweet us at back2_the_story. If you can't fit it into 280 characters, you can always email us at thebonfirefables@gmail.com. And if you'd like further information about the campaign, the player characters, NPCs, or behind-the-scenes sneak peeks, follow us on either Twitter or on our Tumblr, back-to-the back-to-the-story.tumblr.com. Lastly, if you'd like to support the show, feel free to buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/back-to-the-story. We'll see you next time in Norithville.